The emergency klaxons wailed through outpost Kepler 7, their shrill cry bouncing off metallic corridors like the screams of dying stars. Commander Vexthul's chitinous plates rattled with agitation as he stared at the viewport. Beyond the reinforced glass, 6 Krell cubs, apex predators from the death world of Vorikai Prime, prowled the main landing platform, their obsidian scales glinting under the harsh alien sun. "This is catastrophic," Vexthul hissed, his mandibles clicking nervously. "The relief ships arrive in 2 hours. If those creatures remain on the platform, hundreds will die. The cubs alone could tear through our security forces." The Krell cubs were each the size of a small earth bear, their bodies rippling with genetically perfected muscle. Rows of serrated teeth lined their elongated jaws, and their 6 eyes tracked movement with predatory precision. These weren't merely dangerous animals, they were evolved killing machines, born on a planet where everything existed solely to hunt or be hunted. Talia Brooke stood beside the commander, arms crossed, watching the cubs with an expression that bordered on amusement. Her worn jumpsuit marked her as the outpost's xenobiologist, though most of the crew knew her as the human who did impossible things with impossible creatures. "They're just babies," Talia said softly. "Babies?" Vexthul's voice rose 3 octaves. "Those babies killed 2 security drones yesterday and broke through a reinforced barrier designed to withstand plasma fire." "They were playing," Talia replied, her eyes following the smallest cub, Ren, as he pounced on his sibling's tail. "Watch them. That's play behavior, not aggression. Playing." Vexthul's translator struggled with the sarcasm dripping from his words. "Human Talia, I have mobilized every available unit. We have stun weapons, containment fields, sedative gas, which will terrify them and make them actually dangerous." Talia interrupted. She turned to face the commander, and he found himself taking an involuntary step back. There was something in human eyes when they made decisions that unsettled every other species in the Galactic Union. A certainty, a stubbornness that had built empires from dirt and stone. "Let me try first," Talia said. "Give me 10 minutes. 10 minutes? The cubs have been out there for 4 hours. Our specialists, our containment teams, Your specialists don't understand pack bonding," Talia said, already moving toward the airlock. "Humans do." Vexthul wanted to argue to order her back to follow protocol, but he'd seen Talia work miracles before. 3 months ago, she'd calmed a rampaging Thorian crush beast using nothing but patience and what she called gentle pressure points. Last month, she'd taught a colony of telepathic mind wasps to recognize her as non-threatening through sheer repetition, and treats made from synthesized nectar. The human did impossible things. 10 minutes, he finally agreed, but the containment teams remain on standby. Talia smiled and stepped into the airlock. The heat hit her first. Kepler 7's binary suns turned the landing platform into an oven during midday. She adjusted her breather and walked forward with slow, measured steps. The cubs noticed immediately. 6 heads swiveled in unison, 12 eyes focusing on the small human approaching their territory. Ren, the smallest but boldest, stepped forward. A low rumble emanated from his chest, a sound that would develop into the earth-shaking roar of an adult Krell. To Talia, it sounded like a kitten's first attempt at intimidation. "Hey there, troublemaker," Talia said softly, crouching down to reduce her profile. Non-threatening, small, prey-like even. Every instinct screamed that this was suicide, but Talia had learned to trust counterintuitive approaches. Ren's rumble intensified. He took 3 steps closer, his packmates fanning out behind him. Classic hunting formation. If Talia ran, they would chase. If she attacked, they would tear her apart. So she did neither. Instead, Talia sat down cross-legged on the scorching platform and pulled out a small object from her pocket. A simple metal whistle, no longer than her thumb. She'd been working with these cubs since they'd arrived at the outpost as eggs, studying them through observation windows, learning their behavioral patterns, understanding their psychology. Krell cubs, she'd discovered, responded to frequency ranges humans couldn't even hear naturally, but the whistle could. She blew softly. The effect was instantaneous. Ren's aggressive posture melted. His head tilted, ears, barely visible slits behind his jaw, perking forward. The other cubs stopped their flanking maneuver, confusion replacing predatory focus. Talia blew again, this time varying the pitch in a pattern she'd been practicing for weeks. High, low, high, low, a rhythm, a song. To the watching crew on the monitors, what happened next seemed like sorcery. Ren approached Talia, his massive form shrinking with submissive posture. When he reached her, he pressed his scaled head against her shoulder, a gesture of trust so profound that Vexthul gasped audibly in the control room. Impossible, the commander whispered. One by one, the other cubs approached. They circled Talia, their earlier menace transformed into something almost playful. Ren pawed at her leg, then bounded away, looking back expectantly. Talia stood, dusted off her jumpsuit and blew the whistle again. A different pattern this time. 3 short bursts, followed by a long note. Ren immediately trotted toward the holding bay doors, looking back to ensure his siblings followed. They did, falling into line like ducklings behind their mother, or in this case, like puppies following their human. Talia walked slowly, whistle ready, as the cubs followed her off the landing platform, through the secondary corridor, and into the reinforced habitat that had been their home. Once inside, she gave them each a treat, protein cubes she'd synthesized to match their nutritional needs, and sealed the door behind them. The entire operation took 7 minutes. When Talia returned to the control room, Vexthul was staring at her as if she'd just split an atom with her bare hands. How? He finally managed to ask. Talia shrugged. Consistency, patience, understanding that beneath all that armor and those teeth, they're still just kids who want structure, boundaries, and someone they can trust. She smiled. Humans have been doing this with dangerous animals for thousands of years. We call it domestication. But Krell are apex predators. Their neurology, their instincts, are flexible during their juvenile phase, Talia interrupted. I read the studies. Their brains are hardwired to follow pack hierarchy. I just convinced Ren I was alpha by being consistent, non-threatening, and providing positive reinforcement. She paused. Also, that whistle hits frequencies that their mothers use. Evolutionary comfort sounds. Vexthul was silent for a long moment. Then his mandibles clicked, and what Talia had learned was the Vrathari equivalent of laughter. You humans, he said, shaking his head. You see death incarnate and think pet. Not pet, Talia corrected, looking back at the monitor showing the cubs now peacefully sleeping in their habitat. Ren curled protectively around his smaller siblings. Family. And in that moment, Commander Vexthul understood why humanity had become legends across the galaxy. They didn't conquer through superior firepower or advanced technology. They conquered through an ability other species had long abandoned. The capacity to see the universe not as it was, but as it could be. The relief ships landed 2 hours later without incident. And if anyone noticed Talia sneaking extra protein cubes to the habitat late that night, or heard her whistle echoing through the corridors, no one mentioned it. Some things, after all, transcended protocol.